Hello and welcome to video number 6, and let's go ahead and do the product test. Now at this point in the time, you know for a fact that this is a niche that you want to go into. But what we need to do now is we need to make sure that we are going to be able to profit from this blog. So what you need to do as far as product creation goes is figure out if you have an unlimited supply of products that you can sell to your market. Because the more products that you have, the higher your revenue stream is going to be. Now, there are different routes that you can take. You can either find affiliate products, or in other words, products that other people have created, and you can direct your traffic, your bloggers to, and you can send them there, and if they buy, then you get an affiliate commission. So you get a cut. Basically, if the vendor has a product, let's say a video course, and they give you 50%, for every sale that you make, you get 50%. Now, the nice thing about this is you don't have to deal with customer support. The downside is you only get half of the commission. Now, if you create your own product, obviously, you get 100% commission. So you are the vendor, so you get 100% of the product. Now, that's the nice thing about products, but product creation definitely does take time. And a shortcut of that is what we call private label rights products. What that means is you have somebody who has created a video course or a report or an ebook or some sort of product, and they are giving you rights to put your name on it and make it as your own. So the person creating the private label product, their name is not on it, so you pretty much get all the credit. Now, if you go find a private label rights product in your niche, let's say, for example, lowering cholesterol, and you compile a ebook or a report that somebody can buy, or you can turn that report into a video course that somebody can buy. Either way, product creation or private label rights, you get 100% of the actual revenue. So here's the thing. Finding affiliate products is great. It allows you to focus on your blog. But if you're unable to find many affiliate products, that just means that you're going to have to create your own products or find private label rights products. But I want you to understand that at the end of the day, the more products you create, the more you actually control yourself. So you actually own these products. And if you have 5 different products, you can cross-sell them. If somebody buys product 1, you're more likely to present them with product 2, 3, 4, 5. And if they like you, and if they like your products, they're more likely to buy the other products. And that's the beauty of this, is you can pretty much do however you wish if you own the product. So what I want to do now is just head on over to Google. I'm going to show you real quick how to find products that you can sell, if it's an affiliate product, or if you want a private label rights shortcut. So this is going to be a quick and easy exercise. Simply go to google.com, and then of course in the search box type in private label rights, and then place the next word to be your niche. So in this case, if that's lower cholesterol, let's see what we get. So you're going to see PLR or private label rights. You can do a search for PLR as well. Same thing, same acronym. And you can see that, you know, this is $3.49. It's 30 days to lower cholesterol, PLR ebook. And you want to make sure that you see what's inside the ebook. Now, I can't say for everything. Some ebooks are created with tons and tons of high quality, and some are created and they're not really good quality. So you really have to pick and choose. I mean, it's not really expensive. So at the end of the day, you can look at it, and if it's great, if it needs to be rewritten, you can hire an article writer to do a total rewrite of it. Or another thing you can do is you can head on over to upwork.com or fiverr.com, which is fiverr.com, and find somebody to turn these articles into videos, which is something that most people don't do, but that's an extra step that you can take that really adds a lot more value. Now, aside from private label rights, finding affiliate products or products that have vendors who have created a product that you can promote to get an affiliate commission You go to clickbank.com and you click on their affiliate marketplace and you type in a keyword here. So let's say cholesterol and see what we get. So out of this, we can see there's 122 products, which is a good thing. That means that we have enough products that we could potentially sell. And as you can see here, the initial sell is $24.45, and that means that you're going to get that amount of money. And some of these have rebill, so some of these have recurring membership sites attached to it. So if you sell it once, you can get paid over and over again over the course of a few months. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to just glance really quick. You don't have to buy anything right now, just kind of get an idea, is there actually affiliate products out there that we can sell and promote and get a commission? And we can see that there is indeed 122. All right. So another thing you can do is you can go to Google and we can say lower cholesterol or just cholesterol affiliate program and see what kind of affiliate programs are out there for products that are helping people lower cholesterol. And you would simply go here, you would take a look at it. You could contact the vendor to get more information or even get private access or complimentary access to the actual product to test it out to make sure that it is good for your list. So over time, if you build a list of, let's say 500 people or 1,000 people, over time you have more leverage the bigger your list is, or the more interactive your actual list is. So lists can be email lists, it could be Facebook likes, it could be Twitter followers, and more. But this just gives you an idea about what is actually out there and if you have enough products to sell on your blog for the future. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 7 and we are going to talk about topic generation. So it's time to go one step further and figure out a larger list of topics. Now, we obviously have a list that we created earlier, but we want to make sure that we verify that they are truly in demand. And that is something that people are asking for out on the internet. So how do you go about verifying this? Let me go ahead and show you. So there are several tools that you can use that don't cost you any money to try to figure out topics that are in demand, that people are searching for. And the two sites are Google and SEMrush. Now, SEMrush does cost money, but at the same time, they do allow a free search, which gives you a limited amount of topics. And as you can see here, I went to SEMrush, that's SEMrush.com. And the keyword overview, as you can see here, I typed in lower cholesterol. So kind of following the topics that we've been talking about earlier. And as you can see here, you can choose countries, but I would advise just choose one country. And as you can see here, we scroll down, we can see phrase match keywords. So as far as lower cholesterol goes, we can see here how to lower cholesterol. We can see the CPC, or what advertisers are willing to spend. And that's a good sign. If they're willing to spend money on a specific keyword, that means there is demand. As you can see here, foods that lower cholesterol lowering foods. So there's a lot about foods. You can see that there are other keywords as well. There's ad copies, there's organic search results. You can also use BuzzSumo as well to generate topics. And in addition to this, if we head on over back to google.com, up at the top here, if you put in the address bar a keyword, let's say, for example, lower cholesterol, you'll notice that as I begin to type things out, Google will actually try to complete your sentence with lower cholesterol diet, lower cholesterol fast, foods, exercise, and recipes. Now, if I were to, let's say, type in lower cholesterol, just flat out, and I scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see a larger list of searches related to lower cholesterol. Now, what this allows you to do is it allows you to see the high demand searches. In other words, Google's not going to show keywords up at the top unless people are actually searching for them. So if thousands among thousands of people are searching for them, that's something to be aware of. Now, what this allows you to do is it allows you to drill deeper. So let's say, for example, that we want to do a search for lower cholesterol foods. And we do a search for that. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see everything related to lower cholesterol foods. So we can see cholesterol in almonds, breakfast, food list, recipes, how to reduce it naturally without medication. So we can see that and can I get an idea of the type of person that is searching? So we can see just from this list that the person searching is more likely to want to reduce their cholesterol and with natural home remedies, with supplements, with dieting, and everything naturally. So if that's the case, let's do a search again for lower cholesterol plan and see what we get. So let's scroll down all the way down to the bottom and we can see that the plan consists of diet plans, how to lose weight. So losing weight can be a factor. And we can see Indian diet plan. We can see Mayo Clinic diet plan. So many different diet plans. So what this allows us to see is allows us to see the overall general idea, which is lower cholesterol. And within that, we can see that there's things like dieting. So let's just create a notepad here. So lower cholesterol. And within that, we can see diet. We can see recipes, which recipes, of course, fits into diet. We can see exercise. You can ask yourself what type of exercise, lifestyle changes, what type of lifestyle changes. So as you're beginning to type these out, ask yourself questions that other people would ask, like what type, or what if, or why, or how, or when. So who, what, when, where, how kind of thing. So that way you can expand upon not just the general niche and the sub niche, but you can expand upon that. So you could see this diet and recipes could become one whole vertical of just topics, tons and tons of different diet plans, tons of different recipes, different types of exercises. We have, swimming, we have cardiovascular, aerobic type exercises, running, how long. And as you can see here, you can really dig deeper and deeper and deeper. So I would say just using Google itself allows you to really dig deeper, but utilizing other tools like SEMrush or BuzzSumo, or even going after the paid versions of these apps and digging up actual data that says, okay, this keyword is getting a $3 CPC, which means for every click somebody gets, they're actually paying about $3 cost per click. All right. So that's basically all you need to do right now is just do a little brainstorming, do a little researching, and create a list of topics that Google has proven to you that it is in demand. All right. So with that said, let's move on to the next video. Hello and welcome to video number 8. And let's talk about blog creation. How do you go about creating the blog posts now that you have a list of different topics that you might want to create? Should you use videos or should you use articles, or how long should they be? Now, if you took a look at the BuzzSumo examples in the previous videos, you notice that the articles were pretty long. They were about 1,000 to about 1,500 words for an article. And that's pretty much standard nowadays. But if you can get to a point where it's like 2,000 articles and you have a video, that actually will keep the retention rate of somebody who lands on your blog. So that's the recommended thing to do, is to create an article, and you can outsource this if you want, but I would recommend you actually try to create the blog outline yourself, because if you're passionate about it, it's going to be easier. And one little tip that I have to say to speed up the process is be using something like your iPhone. So like an iPhone, it has something called Siri, and Siri allows you to voice your thoughts on your notepad, and you're able to create an article at a really, really fast rate. Now, obviously, grammatically, everything might be incorrect, but what you can do is you can do that on your iPhone or your smartphone, or even Dragon Naturally Speaking to create the article, and then you can send it to a proofreader. I create the articles and then I send it to the proofreader because that allows me to be creative, that allows me to just push it all out, and then it allows somebody else to do the grammatical checking and the spelling and all that to make sure that it actually flows. Now, once you're done with that, what you can do next is you can head on over to places like Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, and you can hire people to actually read your article and get them to turn it into a video. So essentially what you're doing is the video is the same as the article. And what you can do is you can add images, and that way you appeal to the visual audiences, the kinesthetic, and the auditory learners. There's 3 types of people and 3 different types of learning. So that's what I recommend to you. Now, as far as what the blog post should be about, well, I'm going to show you what we call the backward blog creation strategy. And I'm actually going to take an example. I'm going to show you how to write the article, or at least outline it to the point that you can do it all in less than 5 minutes. All right, so let me go ahead and show you that right now. Okay, so the reason why I call this the backward blog post strategy is because what we're doing is we're moving backwards, if that makes sense. And it'll make more sense once we dive right in. But as you can see here, what you're trying to do is you're trying to find an already proven blog post. We're not plagiarizing, we're not copying anything, and just want to get that out of the way. But what we're trying to do is we're looking at what is proven and extracting from that and making it more specific, making it more unique, and making it better, essentially. So we find that proven blog post, and then what we do is we can break it up. So this one proven blog post could essentially become 10 or 15 or 20 even smaller blog posts that are actually more specific. So let me show you this in action. This is super, super easy to do. We're not plagiarizing by any means, so I just want to make sure we understand that and that is clear. So let's move on and let's talk about lowering cholesterol again. So lower cholesterol foods. You notice that in the previous search that we noticed that a lot of foods, a lot of natural remedies. So let's kind of focus on that because that seems to be what people are searching for. So let's just type in lower cholesterol foods and see what we get. So if we scroll down, we can see top 12 foods that lower cholesterol. And you'll notice this, a lot of articles are moving more towards 12 things or top 10 things that lower your cholesterol, or top 10 different types of cardiovascular exercises that allow you to lower your cholesterol, or even top 10 foods that you can still eat that are tasty that can lower your cholesterol. So let's just click through here. We'll click this one here and let's just start from there. So as you can see here, it says 12 foods that lower cholesterol naturally. Now, if we take a look here, we can see that it lists different types of foods. So different categories of foods like oats, we have red wine, we have salmon and fish, we have nuts. Now, we can see that while this is great and all, we can go more specific. So the question is, how do you go more specific? Because obviously the more specific it is, the more interesting it is sometimes, but at the same time, a lot of times, it'll actually boost your authority simply because people feel like, okay, you've actually focused in on very, very specific details. So instead of saying like the top 12 different foods that lower cholesterol, what you can do here is say, for example, fish. You can say the top 10 fish that actually lower your cholesterol, or top 5 fish that lower your cholesterol, top 5 types of nuts. Because as you can see here, there are many different types of nuts. There's our pistachios, for example, that can help lower cholesterol. And there are many other types like almonds that can help as well. So try to go through here and just break it down. So let's just go here and we can see here that it's talking about nuts, oats, red wine, salmon or fish, nuts, and let's scroll down and see what else. So we can see teas, we have beans, we have chocolate, we have margarine, and we have garlic and olive oil. So there are actually other olive oils or types of oils that can lower cholesterol. So we can do oils, and let's just start with that. So obviously oats are oats. Red wine, there might be different types of red wine. So maybe we could do top 5 types of red wine, or top types of fish, top 5 types of nuts, and top 5 types of oil that lower your cholesterol. Now, indirectly, what you're doing here is, even though it is very, very specific, you're actually helping Google figure out what your site is all about. So there we go. From this one article, we were able to create 4 different articles. And because it's all very consistent, all we have to do now is we can go back to Google and type in, let's say, top beans to lower cholesterol. So right off the bat, you can see eating a cup of beans can lower your cholesterol as much as 10%. So we have navy beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, black beans, and chickpeas. That's already 3, 4, 5. So there you go. So you can easily find other articles out there that are based on these articles. So you can hire an article writer. Of course, there are many different places that you can go to hire article writers. Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, is one good place to go to. And another place that you can go to is Upwork.com. And you can find very high quality article writers. And really all you need is a few. Just start out with one. And then, of course, as you expand, you can hire a few more. But what I like to do is I like to hire a couple first and see which ones I like, their writing style, and how well they work with you. And then you can outsource it. Or you can either do it yourself and very, very easily do it because you have it's more specific. The more specific it is, the easier it is to write. So for example, going back to nuts, we have number 1, pinto beans. Number 2, navy beans. Number 3, 4, 5. So all we need is 3 more, which we have those. So kidney beans, chickpeas, and butter beans. So all you have to do is simply hand this to an article writer and say, hey, I want you to write an article on the top 5 types of nuts that lower your cholesterol. And I want you to cover the what and the whys. So basically, this is how it goes. As far as writing a blog post, to make sure that they convert, you always want to cover the what and the whys. You can cover the whens, that's fine, but you don't really want to cover the how. The how is the solution. So the solution is a how, and that essentially is what you are trying to get somebody to buy your product, is the how. So you get people interested in lowering their cholesterol. They learn about the what's and whys, and now they need to learn how to do that. All right. So that's how to create a high converting blog post at a very, very fast pace. Welcome to video number 9, and we're going to talk about blogging platforms. So congratulations, you've reached the end of this video course. And now it's time to talk about blogging platforms. We're going to talk about two things: WordPress or Blogger. And the reason why I want to talk about Blogger is because I know many of you might have the temptation to use Blogger, and Blogger is great. And you can use both, but I recommend the WordPress being your actual blog. And of course, if you want to use Blogger, you can use it to kind of bump the rank up of your WordPress site. So let me explain. Blogger is owned by Google. It's also known as blogspot.com or blogger.com. If you go to either or site, you will go to the same site. This is owned by Google, and it is able to rank super fast. In fact, you'll notice that many self-made authority figures in different niches like you are using blogger.com. And if you notice, they rank really, really fast in the internet. Now, here's the downside of Blogger or blogspot.com is you don't own it. So this means if you get banned for whatever reason, you lose your asset, right? Now, that's where WordPress comes in. Ultimately, you need to have your own asset, especially if you're building a business surrounding this. This is a serious thing. So that's why we recommend WordPress. And you need to buy your own domain. You need to buy your own web hosting. And usually, typically, most web hosting companies have WordPress. So you can simply log into the panel or even ask them to install it for you, and they will install it, and you're good to go. So I'm going to explain a little bit more depth about WordPress. How do you find a domain? How do you go about finding web hosting? What web hosting companies we recommend? And how do you create your blog? How do you find themes? And we'll cover all of that in just a second. Okay, so in order for you to get this to work, you need to have a domain name because you need to have your own brand, essentially. So what you need to do is you need to head on over to a site called namecheap.com. And what Namecheap is a domain registrar, which is where you can buy your domains. So you can go here, and if the domain is available, you can actually get access to it. So if we say something like lower cholesterol, and I'm pretty sure lower cholesterol is taken, but we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we can see whether or not it is available. And I'm pretty sure it is just because put some numbers in it, but I don't recommend you do that. I just recommend that you find whatever domain that is great for you, and then of course add it to your cart, buy it, and you're good to go. So you pretty much have completed the domain part. Now you have to get web hosting. So essentially the way it works is this. If we go back over here, you need two things. You need a domain name, which is kind of like an address, and then of course you need to have web hosting. So if you think about it, a house or apartment, you always have an address, right? And of course the address points to a house. And then a house actually has furniture in it, and you can change the outlook of it, the design of it, and all that. That's basically what web hosting is all about. So what you need to do now is you need to find a web hosting company that specializes in WordPress, because you're going to be using WordPress. Now, just keep in mind that WordPress is a very intensive type software. So as you grow your WordPress site, it utilizes a lot of RAM, a lot of server processing speed as it grows. So that's just something to keep in mind. So what I recommend that you do, you can either go to Google and you type in top WordPress hosting companies and go from there, or you can specifically use the ones that I'm about to talk to you about. There's one site called knownhost.com. We've used them. They have one of the best customer supports as of now, and they're very, very fast. The one good thing about web hosting companies is, as far as trying to figure out whether or not they are good or not, is to figure out how fast their support really is. If you email them, and you might want to test it out, if you contact them and they take hours and hours to get back to you, move on to the next place. because that's a good sign to figure out whether or not that's a good hosting company. But we've tested this particular host and we found that they're really good. So what you want to do is you can head on over to here, and what you're looking for with WordPress type web hosting is SSD. So any type of SSD is going to be really fast. So you can pick the $25 per month plan, for example, and this is going to be reliable because this is a reliable host. You always want to choose a reliable host. The next host that's good for web hosting for WordPress is a2hosting.com. And if you go here, you look for the cloud hosting, or you can look for the shared hosting. So if you click on cloud hosting, you can go through and purchase whatever you need. Typically what you can do is you can start out with the very basic plan, and then of course move up from there. So as you can see, A2 hosting uses SSD, which is what you want. If you see any hosting that is using something like HDD, which is a regular hard drive, then you might want to pass. So for example, there are a lot of web hosting companies out there. HostGator also provides WordPress hosting. I cannot recommend HostGator. Have not really had the greatest experience with them. But knownhost.com is a great web hosting company that we have tested, and it has been tried and true. So once you've gotten your domain and your web hosting, the web hosting company will provide you with information on how to connect the two. So they will provide you with that, and if you have any problems with that, you can talk to them about that. So basically, I can tell you for a fact, KnownHost utilizes what we call cPanel. So they're going to give you access to a cPanel, which then you can log in, and of course, they will give you access to what we call Softaculous. So what you do is you click on WordPress here, and this is basically an app installer. So instead of having to go to WordPress.org and install the 5-minute installation file, which really isn't 5 minutes, by the way, it's more like maybe 10 or 15 minutes or even more, depending on your expertise. So that's why I find this route is just a lot easier, because with this Softaculous, all you have to do is simply go down, click install now, and you fill in the details, and within less than 3 steps, you have installed WordPress. So up at the top, if you scroll down, you're going to see the in-directory option. What this means is basically if you want your WordPress blog to be installed on www.yourdomain.com, if that is the case, leave this blank. If you want to install the WordPress blog in a subfolder, then that's when you can actually enter a directory here. So if this case, we can just type in test blog, you fill in your site name, your description, and then of course your admin username and password. And then of course you can choose the advanced options, and then you can actually select a theme. So that's the nice thing about this particular app installer, is you can pick one, you can actually scroll through many different themes. And the nice thing about WordPress is you can literally change the whole design with a click of a button. You don't have to redo everything or anything like that. So if I want to go with this one, I can click select and click install. And literally within less than a minute or a couple minutes, we are good to go. That's it. And of course, if we go to the actual blog itself, we can see the actual blog has been created. Now, the app installer is going to give you access to the WordPress administrator dashboard, as you can see here. And all you have to do is literally, whenever you create a post, you can go here, add new posts, and you can add new pages. You can also change the appearance by going to appearance and themes. So let's say, for example, we don't like this particular theme. We always can go to add new, and we can find another theme. We can click install, for example, and it's installed. We can activate it. And if you go to the live site, you can literally see that the blog design has been changed. Now, I would recommend that if you are very serious about building a long-term authority blog, that you buy a theme that actually relates to your audience. So I recommend a site. It's called themeforest.net. Themeforest.net. And if you go under WordPress, you can actually find different themes that relate to different markets. So for example, we have blog and magazine. And just because it says blog does not necessarily mean you have to use that theme. You can use a theme that is related to other different markets as well. So as you can see, it ranges about $20 to about $54 per theme. But these themes are very, very professional and can definitely make you stand out. And if somebody comes to your site, you want to make a good first impression. And if you do that, that's one side of getting people to trust you, is to make sure that your site looks professional. So that's just something to think about as well. So I'm not going to go into too much depth about how to use WordPress. That's a different course for a different day. There's many different types of video courses out there that will teach you how to utilize WordPress, how to manage the site, and all that. But best of all, WordPress is great because it's very newbie friendly. And once you understand how to use it, it's very, very fast and efficient to create posts, to create pages, to add images, and all of that.